Saturday, October 14th, 2023, Maneco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. Today we're going to look at gold. Yes, gold and silver had a massive day yesterday. It's rare that gold goes up more than 1%, but it went up more than that. And I'm going to give you my opinion on whether this is a big turning point. Looking at the charts, it looks like a massive move, but you never know with gold and the powers that be. So, yes, I'm still in Turkey with my nephew and his friend Tim. We've had 4 rounds of golf. We finished our round today. It's actually just after 6 p.m. Turkish time, which is I think 11 a.m. New York time and 4 p.m. London time. We had a long round. It was slow. The people in front of us were slow. It took just over 5 hours, which is a lot of time. We usually have been taking 4 hours. But I would say this region of Turkey, Belek, if you're into golf, it's a great place. There's some very nice courses here. Yesterday we played Colin Montgomery design course, which is really nice. My game is on and off. I've played 2 fairly good rounds and 2 not so good. Yesterday, actually I made 2 birdies, which is nice. We're trying to see who makes the most birdies. I didn't make any today, but back to the real world, so to speak. And just to let you know, I'm going to be here till Tuesday. I'm flying off on Tuesday. I'll be home Tuesday afternoon. And on Wednesday, things will be back to normal. But I'm still, of course, keeping an eye on things. And yesterday, of course, was Friday the 13th. And October as well, which is interesting because the original Friday the 13th in 1307 was also in October. And funnily enough, they give you golf carts or buggies, as the English call them here. And you need them because it's really hot still here and the courses are very long. And it's interesting that yesterday we played the Montgomery Max course. Beautiful course. I think they've played the Turkish Open there many times. And my buggy, believe it or not, I noticed like after a few holes, it was number G33. And I thought to myself, well, 33, that's the Freemason number, October 13th. And I got a G as well. And then, I don't know, I think it was on the 12th or 13th hole. I usually turn off, put my mobile on silencer when I'm playing golf. For some reason I forgot. Luckily, my nephew and his friend had finished hitting their second shot, and I got a call, and it was my friend from London, and he said, have you seen gold? And I replied because I couldn't really pick it up. And I put a picture of me playing golf. I said, I'm not worried about golf right now. And he said, gold is going to explode. I said, oh, good. And then I just finished my round and I got back to the hotel and I had a look. And I'm not surprised because a few days ago I did a video about how gold bounced off the 200-week moving average really quite sharply. And of course the situation, geopolitical situation, of course, is one of the main reasons given. But I would argue there are a few things, and one of them I missed, and it was something that happened on October 4th. Well, so about 10 days ago. I didn't see it, but I saw it the other day, and I've saved it to talk to you about it. And it's about the Bank of Japan. And this is an FT article. It says, Bank of Japan buys $12.7 billion, yeah, not yen, dollars, of bonds as yields hit highest in a decade. Purchases come as global market sell-off drives U.S. Treasury rates. So we know that the Bank of Japan is just really an arm of the Federal Reserve, an Asian, Japanese arm of the Federal Reserve. No offense to Japanese people, but yeah, unfortunately, Japan is a client state. It's controlled completely by the U.S. And also, as far as central banks go, there's a club. There's a Federal Reserve, the Bank of England, the ECB, and the Bank of Japan. Those are the main ones, and they meet every other month in Basel, Switzerland, at the BIS. The heads of all those banks, they travel there with a diplomatic passport, and they spend a long weekend or a few days there. They eat the best food, they drink the best wine, and they decide what they're going to do. And I can bet you that the Bank of Japan has been asked by the Fed and the ECB and the Bank of England to step up to the plate, and they don't mind doing it. Even though Kuroda is retired, the new guy is Kuroda on steroids. He doesn't understand, I think, how markets work. He's an academic. But let's go through this. So what I'm trying to say, the Bank of Japan right now is saving the bond markets by the back door. And I think eventually the Fed is going to pivot. And I think what happened yesterday, not with just bullion, gold and silver, but with the miners, is very, very significant. Yes, the geopolitical situation is impacting it, but there are other things going on as well. So yeah, the Bank of Japan, they bought, they bought a lot more than was expected. They said that, I think a week or two before, they said they were going to buy like $2 billion worth of JGBs, but it says here, and this was from 10 days ago, the Bank of Japan offered to buy 675 billion, worth of Japanese government bonds at maturities between 5 and 10 years. The BOJ's offer was part of a 1.19 trillion yen, $12.7 billion of JGB purchases across various maturities on Wednesday. The unscheduled part of the offer greatly exceeded market expectations, traders said. So I think there's this that's helping treasuries rebound and yields come off a bit. Of course, there's going to be also the safe haven flow, which I doubt is really the right thing to do. I still think unless the Fed doesn't do any more QE or yield curve control, we will see bonds still rally in terms of yields, which is a bad thing. But we also have, of course, some data. And the data in the US that came out on Friday, that's starting to show that the economy and the consumer, they're slowing down. They're like reining in. They're up to here in debt. Rates are going up as well, lending rates, credit card rates. And we saw that consumer confidence, the Michigan consumer confidence number, was very weak. And I think that helped gold and silver as well. As I talk to you here, looking at the number, it dropped from 66. Michigan consumer, consumer sentiment dropped from 68.1 to 63. And this number is important. I remember I worked in the markets, as many of you know, for over 20 years, and this number was always closely watched by the bond market, and I think this had an impact. And I think what the market didn't like either was the one-year inflation expectations from this Michigan survey. It jumped from 3.2% to 3.8%. It was expected to stay at 3.2. So what we're seeing here is stagflation, which is not surprising. Keynesians and the mainstream economists, they're making, in my opinion, the same mistakes that people made in the 70s. Things never seem to change. They thought that you couldn't have rising prices and the debasement of the currency, even though the economy is slowing down, and that's what's happening. It's the worst of both worlds, slow growth and a devaluing currency. But a devaluing currency for me is not surprising. It shouldn't be surprising to you because you know you should know by now the real definition of inflation. So let's check the gold market, see what it did yesterday. So we closed right near the highs. I think the high was 1935, and I spoke to you yesterday morning, I think, October 13th, and at the time I think we were at 1867. So it was a huge move. Looking at the numbers here, gold was up 3.41%. As I said, Bill Murphy noticed this many years ago, that the gold cartel, always kept the percentage gain on a day to 1% for gold. The silver maybe a little more, but for gold to be up 3.41%, I would say is very significant. Of course, we need to wait for next week and see what happens. If we continue these massive moves that we saw next week, the one that we saw on Friday, I would say that we could be at the all-time high, testing that triple top at 2070 very soon. And I notice, of course, in other currencies, gold did even better, because even though the dollar dropped against gold, and that's how you have to measure the dollar rose massively against the other currencies. So in pounds, we're almost back to 1600. In euros, I see that we went up to almost 1850. So this is not just a dollar thing, it's a gold thing. And silver, of course, went up 4%. I would say that silver kind of underperformed a little bit. So I think silver should maybe pick up a little bit relative to gold, hopefully. That's the way I see it. I see as well that I said the miners did really well. Recently, I went back into quite a bit of the miners, the main miners. I didn't do it through the ETF because my ISA doesn't allow me to do that. But I did it a couple of weeks ago, exactly when everything started dumping. But now I'm almost back to square one, which is good. But I see the let's see, GDX, that was up 4.36%. So that was pretty good. GDXJ up 5.1, and the SILJ, the Prime Junior Silver Miners ETF, that was up almost 6%. So that's really encouraging. I see as well that WTI crude is up almost 6%. And as I've said many times, I don't watch mainstream media or mainstream news, but I've put it on here regularly to watch BBC World. And yeah, things don't seem to be improving in Israel and Gaza. And I still think, and I still think, as I said, I think when this conflict started a week ago today, that the spreading of it could be even more serious. What countries like Saudi Arabia, Iran, Egypt, Russia and China, how they react to this. It looks like Secretary of State Blinken is trying to placate all parties. I'm not sure how successful he'll be. And yeah, that's what is happening out there. I think, of course, many people are going to say gold and silver are only doing well because of this war, but I think there's a lot more to it. Let's not forget the fundamentals that the major countries in the West, the US, the UK, the EU, they're still up to here in debt. Our economies are slowing down. They're running huge deficits. Currency debasement is going to continue. Of course, the war doesn't help. The prospects for higher oil prices doesn't help the economy. And we've seen already that the consumer is already losing confidence, as in this, and this was way before, of course, this war. The Michigan numbers were for the month of September. And yeah, with rates where they are, mortgage rates, credit card rates, and the fact as well that a lot of the student loan forgiveness is going to be reversed, I think, in October. That's another problem. And not to talk about what's happening in the U.S. Congress. I think Jim Jordan has been chosen to be picked for being the speaker. And I think there's another deadline, November, to keep the government open. So it's a mess. And I think, feel comfortable, of course, having some gold and silver outside the system. And for those of you who haven't gotten on board and are looking to get on board, you might be saying, oh, it's too high now to buy. It might be if you haven't been trying to buy whenever you can, regardless of the price. But gold investments, I just want to let you know, they still have the 5% off the offer price for various dates gold sovereigns. You can still get it for now, I think. And you have to use my promo code Maneco64 SOV. And if you want to buy other products from gold investments, you have to do a separate transaction. You still get the 0.5% off that you usually get from my promo code Maneco64. And for my viewers in the States, I can only say really good things about my affiliates there. Andy Scheckman at Miles Franklin. Check him out for good deals on gold and silver, and also ITM trading. And make sure, if you're interested, if you want to jump on board, or if you want to continue to accumulate, check out the description of this video with all the details for my affiliates. And so tomorrow, of course, I won't be doing the live stream. I thought that I might contact Rafi, but the Wi-Fi here in the hotel is not very good at all, so I don't think it would be possible. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to wait till Sunday next week. And with that, I'm gonna wish you all a very good rest of the weekend. Take care. Bye.